Hi there. We're continuing our progress through the Proverbs, the Mishle Shlomo, the life sayings of Solomon, and we're in chapter 16. I'm looking at verses 31 to 33. These three verses are actually quite poetic in their way, and probably they're poetic because Proverbs or sayings like this are memorable when there's a rhyme or when there's a rhythm in them. So the first one in verse 31 says, Ateret tiferet seva b'derech dakati matzeh. And it's got a kind of rhythm to it. It means Ateret Tiferet is a crown of beauty. A crown of beauty, seva, is the grey head. Now, a bit like this, I suppose. I don't know if this looks like a crown of beauty the way it is, but it says that those who are older have nothing to be ashamed of in terms of the age that they are, because something of experience is coming through here. And it actually says that the grey head is a crown of beauty, is a crown of glory. And actually, then it qualifies it by saying, "B'derech tzedakati matzeh." It's found in the way of right thinking, a way of integrity, the way of right doing. And so actually, the glory that comes to grey head is not just because you've got a grey hair, but actually because of committing to the ways of integrity. And the ways of integrity lead to that glory that it's talking about. Then in verse 32 is one of actually my favorite of all the Mishle Shlomo, all the Proverbs, one of the first I ever learned when I was a young boy. In Hebrew it says, Tov erech hapayim migibor moshel berucho milochet ir. He who is slow to anger, the one who is slow to anger is better than a warrior. And it's better to control one's city than it is to capture, it's better to control one's spirit than to capture a city. And what's really interesting about this proverb is that it has in it one of the characteristics, the attributes of God that is mentioned in Exodus 34. Erech hapayim, slow to anger. God is slow to anger, and therefore when we are slow to anger, when we have a slow fuse, we're being like God. And actually, not only that, but when we're slow to anger, it's better than when we use force and pushing and violence and so on. It's a really good proverb, this, to speak to ourselves, especially if we're inclined to flare up quickly. It says, the one who controls the spirit is better than the mighty, better than the one who takes a city. And then the last one, verse 33, is B'chek yutal et hagoral u'me'adonai kol mishpato. And the goral is a lot, is a casting of a lot. The lot was used quite a lot in ancient times, even to hear from the Lord. There was a device called the Urim and Thummim, which the high priest had, which would have been consulted to the throne, and from that would have been decided what God's will was. And it says, Bechek yutal, into the lap is thrown the dice, or is thrown the lot, but it's me'adonai kol mishpato, but actually all of its outcomes come from the Lord. Now here's an interesting thing as well, that the word mishpato here is the word mishpat, which is also the word justice or judgment. So it's judgment, if you like, it's outcome. But mishpat here means the way that it turns out, the way that it puts things in order. The order of it comes from the Lord. So it's saying that we may think that things are by chance, but actually the Lord actually has a say in the outcome of everything. So here are these three great life sayings we can take on board, that the crown of glory, the crown of beauty for the elderly comes as they follow the ways of integrity, that to keep your spirit, to stop flaring up quickly, is to be like God and to be better than the mighty. And lastly, whatever we think is happening in terms of the casting of the lots, the casting of the dice, actually the Lord is in control of the outcome. Have a good day.